1973 movie Soylent Green was about a coming dystopian future of dying oceans, greenhouse gases, overpopulation, starvation, and depleted resources. As food is running out, the government resorts to recycling natural dying people and allowing cannibalism in effect through the food production of Soylent Green. That movie is not really about what this video is about. It simply is used as a point of example of how mass starvation could really happen if our food chain is compromised as a result of things like natural disasters, environmental problems, overpopulation, or economic collapse. Because of the amount of information that I'd like to present, this will be at least a two-part video series. But again, the point is that food shortages in the U.S. are a real and present threat, given our urban population growth and the vulnerability of our agricultural systems, food processing abilities, and timely delivery capabilities during any crisis. Today in this first report, I'll start to look at several potential problem areas around the food supply. Problems occurring with the major food producers. What if several major food producers went out of business or they were unable to purchase key food production ingredients from farmers like grains and corn? What if producers were unable to get supplies of beef, pork, and poultry? If the U.S. economy would suddenly worsen, it could happen that some major food producers would cut employees or even go out of business. If farmers or producers ever went down dramatically, the effects would be astronomical. Delivery transportation difficulties. What if there were transportation difficulties for trucks, trains, and so on as a result of strikes or natural disasters such as an earthquake or a major EMP electromagnetic pulse attack, which could debilitate shipping capabilities for weeks? After an EMP solar flare or enemy attack, many truck engines and components may not operate properly, which means food products may not be able to be transported to grocery stores. Unfortunately, the U.S. is still unprepared to stop most EMP threats. In the case of devastating earthquakes over the U.S., trucks and trains may be unable to deliver food products because of broken highways and rail lines. Crop disasters. What if U.S. farmers had a series of major crop disasters and essential product ingredients might not be able to be shipped to production companies for weeks? Remember the Dust Bowl farms in the 1930s that destroyed millions of acres of crops. Yes, farmers today have better techniques and tools to deal with soil erosion, pestilence, and prolonged drought. Last spring, much of the Midwest suffered through horrible flooding and days of rain. As a result, vast amounts of farmland couldn't be planted on. Later, days of rain made their fields too muddy and wet to sow at the necessary time. You need only look at some of the Midwest farm fields recently to see how far behind some of their crops are. Certainly not knee-high corn. Farmers so far have seen $1 billion in corn and livestock losses, with additional losses coming up later. Some experts say that this historic flooding will impact food on your table and prices for a long time to come. But if any widespread crop disasters or significant shortages ever would occur, the results for the U.S. population could be deadly. And if critical food shortages happen, there is a very high likelihood of civil unrest after just a couple of weeks. Bioterrorism. What if a form of bioterrorism occurred to farmers and food producers? Terrorists consider America's agriculture and food production tempting targets. They've noticed that our food supply is among the most vulnerable and least protected of all potential targets of attack. The term agri-terrorism refers to the deliberate introduction of an animal or plant disease for the purposes of generating fear, causing economic losses, or undermining social stability. It represents a tactic to attack the economic stability of the U.S. Next time, I'll continue with part 2 of this report, Could a Food Catastrophe Come to America Given the Right Situations? I believe there's reasons for concern. From Indiana, this is H.A. Graves.